Fellow heroes and Force users of all ages, hello there, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Daniel Dawson, and I'm joined by my fellow friend and nerf herder Alyssa Simmons.
That's me.
Y'all. Today, we are discussing Andor, the Star Wars prequel series to Rogue One. We're going to attempt to cover our thoughts and feelings about Episode 8, Narkina 5. That's how you say it, right?
Well, sure. Works for me.
These episodes were written by Bo Williman and directed by Toby Haynes, and by God, we're Star Wars fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Yes. Andor
Episode
strikes
8.
again.
Andor.
She keeps coming back and getting us with good stuff.
Yeah, we got some like Shawshank Star Wars happening now.
Shawshank slash like Schindler's List. We're getting like really spooky stuff.
Yeah, these are definitely the scariest space Nazis I think we've seen in
space Nazi
Star Wars
themes. They are leaning very, very heavily into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your general thoughts? I mean, I feel like that was a fairly general thought.
That was pretty much my general thoughts, but
I loved it.
It was fun. I felt really stressed out.
Yeah.
It
felt like there was danger.
Yeah.
As a common theme on the show, it's you feel like in Star Wars shows, like there's danger, and you're like, but like I the whole time you're just kind of feeling like, ooh.
Yeah, there was definitely like the stakes were risen for all of the characters in this episode.
We went from like a flank steak to like a filet mignon. We have raised.
We're going with the steak analogy.
Yes, we've
Very
raised the stakes. But yeah, it's So I guess like as far as like danger goes, it's the reason why I feel like more dangerous about this show, or I feel more dangerous. No, that's not the right word. Like I feel like more anxious watching this show is because they're very not precious about any of these characters. I mean, minus Cassian, really. And Mon Mothma, I suppose, but like...
Yeah, I mean, we know he's got to survive this because he goes bye-bye in Rogue One.
Unless he's, a double.
A resurrected being.
Sure. I mean, somehow Palpatine returned. So they're just
no.
going to be... Somehow Cassian returns.
I don't think he will.
You never know. Sorry if that was a little triggering to some people out there listening and watching.
You know what?
All
Star Wars is not for the all 1.5 of you. That would be one adult and one child.
Right.
Listen.
Correct.
not a half
not
a person.
Half a person. Right. Yeah. Right.
Just clarify.
Very much clarify. Good.
But we had lots of like fun Easter eggs in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we were waiting for the return of Gerrera.
Oh my God, I'm so happy he's back.
He had a great scene with Luthen, and
again, just like great dialogue.
I felt like impending. Yeah, I felt like honestly, I was scared that he was maybe going to kill Luthen in that scene. Did you feel that too?
Really? Yeah. Like, I mean, the
until he like started laughing and was like, no sale today. But like before that, I was like, is he gonna kill him?
The tension. I mean, like, I don't know if I necessarily thought he was gonna kill him, but I mean, like, the tension, you could cut it with a knife. It was real thick.
Mm-hmm.
They have a history, which is so fun. But like, and you got that just like. By the writing, obviously, but just how they treat each other, acting wise too. Like
Yeah, they had that moment like right at the beginning of their conversation where they were like teasing each other about who was responsible for the Aldani thing.
Yeah, right. They're being very coy, and he's being very smart because it seems like they trust each other, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah. An interesting theme that I sort of thought surrounded this episode, other than with Cassian, basically, because he's kind of trapped in this prison, literally.
Right. Quite trapped.
All of the other characters sort of are on this precipice of having to really fully decide how far they're willing to go.
Yeah.
And so
it's again that morality play. We are we're having some characters that might be shifting their alignment potentially.
Yeah. So we've got the lesbians. We've got the lesbians going on.
And obviously lesbians are evil, so.
Pure evil. But Cinta is like, her priority is the rebellion, not her relationship.
Right.
So that was an interesting discovery. We've got all this Mon Mothma stuff still going on.
Oh man, and those scenes were so good. Damn.
Genevieve O'Reilly's acting in like as the politician at that dinner party, I was like, this is like spookily good.
She's so good. Yeah.
The way that she like said the line, and I do promise that I will, stop looking at this view. Like,
yeah, right.
Like as she walked away, I was like, oh my gosh,
so
she
gross.
really is like so. She's got this whole like double life thing down.
And like, if you were just one of those people, I would absolutely believe her. Like, oh my god, she's so charming.
Yeah, and then Luthen has got that scene with who's his friend that works with him at the shop, Vel.
Oh, so okay, I literally I don't
Clara?
know.
Clena? What is her name?
Clea? I think it's Clea.
Clea?
I'm pretty sure. I remember like
I watched the subtitles, but it was like KL.
Because there was Clem and Clea. I remember
my
like
gosh.
thinking that was funny. Like, at least I'm pretty sure. But I did not put two and two together because I'm like I feel very stupid.
Okay.
But his assistant is the one that met the one that you suspect might be his sister.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah.
What the heck? Why did we not?
Why? I literally it just.
Well, she was like out. She was in a different location and had different hair.
Outfit. Yeah.
We're just dumb.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Her name's Clea.
Clea.
Klea.
Clea.
Clea.
No relation to Princess Leia.
No. Okay, this totally tracks. And if you were thinking that we were dumb,
you're
right.
Right. You were absolutely right. That being said, I mean, I guess there still is a possibility that it could be the sister. Although I feel like he would probably, because he seems to know a lot of things.
Yeah, I feel like he would have made that connection,
Skarsgård
or something
known, potentially.
Yeah, I feel like that too.
But maybe he does, and he's just because he's a like sneaky guy, and he's very very calculated with what information he offers.
Yeah, he had some really interesting character developments in this episode with that scene with Clea, telling her like he's like I'm not slipping, I'm just like really tired of hiding.
Yeah.
And
you
then
can see, like right at the very end, because again, like just beautiful subtlety in his acting. Like right the very last frame before like the end of that scene, you could see like, but it's so like you could take it as however you want. The way I took it was maybe a little bit of doubt in his mind about his own self.
Yeah.
Like he.
Well, and then I mean, in the scene with Saw, like he asks him point blank. He's like, he tells him, which I thought was really interesting and a good like world building thing in the scene with Saw, where he says, there are separatists, there are neo Republicans, which I think seems the closest to like Mon Mothma,
probably.
The Gorman Front, the Partisan Alliance, sectorists, human cultists. That was like, I was like, ooh.
Huh?
that sounds scary. Can we get
Yeah.
a show about? Can we get a show about them?
Yeah, they're. I think he's just
They're-
like
they're
listing all of the Disney Plus shows that are
Right?
that are coming.
It's just called the human cultist.
There's the Mandalorian, the Boba
and-
Fett. the-
and the galaxy partitionists, and he says, you know, where do you stand? And he basically is just like, I'm a coward. I'm terrified of the Empire, and
Again, this would if this was a musical, that would have been a great spot for the song. That like the song would have the music would have swelled, and then he would tell Saw what he thinks of himself.
and then his line, "We'll die with nothing." This is like a lyric in the song.
Oh, 1000%.
We'll die with nothing if we don't put aside our petty differences.
Yeah, some good stuff. And he's like petty.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, we learn a little bit of backstory on why can I not ever remember what the blonde lesbian's name is?
Good old
Vel.
Val.
Yeah. Vel Sartha. We learned that she's a rich girl who like ran away from home.
Yeah, and we know like, and that was again some nice like. It didn't feel like obvious writing. It just kind of was like enough to perk our ears up because I mean, we may not get like any more about it, but it could easily come back and be super duper important later on because
Sure. We don't know who her family. I mean, maybe her family are like senators. Maybe she's involved in that whole world. Like, apart from all of the scariness in the prison, we also have we have Andy Serkis and his
freaking
second Star Wars character.
Just wonderful. And he's one of only like a handful of people that's played multiple parts in Star Wars world.
He's the franchise guy. I mean, Lord
of
the Rings, Marvel, DC, Star Wars. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, he is pretty effing talented.
Oh, he's super talented, so it's not something at all that I'm mad at. But he's like one of those people where I'm just like, of course he's in this.
He is like potentially like an idol of mine, I think. And he's just a brilliant character actor.
There's some pretty crazy theories on the interwebs about
him,
about his character possibly being connected to Supreme Leader Snoke and how maybe they like used his DNA to clone or something. I'm like, I mean, that sounds crazy, but also
they just used his vocal cords. That's all.
That's it.
That's all they used.
We just want the vocal quality.
Yeah, it's
of
like,
him.
ooh, that voice is nice. It's kind of like really demanding and like it's good.
One of Cassian's table mates who he works with, you might recognize him from Rogue One.
Yes.
He is Scott Melshi, played by Duncan Powell, who is part of the rebel team that steals the Death Star plans in Rogue One. So
I didn't recognize him at first because he definitely like
he's got
costume and
different costume. He's got like facial hair in Rogue One, and
I just remember like because they kind of when they like this like look that he did and like the camera work that they were doing, they're making like they're making it very obvious that this guy is important. I'm just like, okay.
I'm pretty sure like he and Cassian are gonna like escape the prison together. Like,
no
that's
doubt.
kind of.
I'm actually curious. I mean, it might be too early to talk about this, but do you think that Cassian is gonna be like, okay, guys, here's the plan, and dun 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 dun, and like he's gonna be the one that sort of like is the catalyst that starts it all, or do you think that it's already been planned out and he's just gonna get caught in the thick of it? Because the reason why I asked that is because there's like little hints here and there that the prison isn't potentially being run as well as we think it is, and also
other than the scary floors.
Oh my god, so terrifying. But also we see the people like speaking back and forth with sign language.
The sign language stuff. Based on what we've got from Cassian this season so far, and his kind of
his like superpower.
just his general like vibe and like his personality and
Yeah.
stuff, I feel like he's probably not going to be the one that has planned it.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like
obviously he is.
I mean, there could be like a 180 situation that happens, but like
maybe.
based on like how he's dealt with everything this season so far, he's very much so been a follower
Yeah.
in
Very, very,
all
very
of-
willing to give notes. He's just like
right, a very opinionated follower, but
yes, he's just like, oh, that's the plan you have.
right, but I'm still gonna
okay.
do it.
Sure, but also you're gonna die unless you do this. So yeah, that's fair. I could totally see
Yeah.
him.
So
like,
I just think based on like what we've gotten from him this season so far, unless there is like some sort of like driving action, like something that happens in the prison where he's
Yeah.
like, no, enough is enough. But based on like
Sure.
all of his like table mates and the, you know, the scene where they like briefly get to talk where they're like
It's been
asking
there
him
for
about
over 30 days now,
yeah,
which is crazy.
when they
I
ask him
didn't
about
expect
the
that time jump.
the public order decree and like what's happening on the outside and all of that.
Mhm.
And so
Being very
I don't
coy about it,
know.
which is smart, honestly. I like how, you know, it's, you know, again, good acting because it was fairly subtle, but like obviously I'm sure most people caught it. Like he's just like sizing the place up as he's like going in. Like you can tell that he's taking notes about every little thing that everybody's saying, what they're doing. You know, he's just like keeping very quiet and just listening. And like you know, like the guy that missed his shift because he was busy doing something downstairs and they're understaffed, I think he said, and they're talking about
something about like he had to handle something on 4 because they're understaffed on 4.
right. And then he said they're talking about just like all the we got a lot of time frames too. They're like, this happens in 7 seconds, this happens in 4, this happens in
right, which is just like so much setup for how the hell they're gonna get out.
1000%. Yeah. So he's just like, got it. That's 7 seconds. That's this, and then he's like, okay, so that's how much time I have to do. Boop a doop bap. Yeah. Clever stuff. Very good. And
another before I forget it, another
yes.
Easter egg when we go into
it's Halloween, not Easter.
Oh yeah, it is Halloween. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Woo.
When Luthen arrives on Segra Milo, we see Benthic, 2 tubes.
Oh yes.
You remember him?
Yes.
Yeah, from
From
Solo
Rogue
and
Solo,
yeah.
Totes.
That was a fun little thing. Also another
X-Wing.
Rogue One Solo. Yes. Also another Rogue One Solo. I rewound it because I was like, is that what he said? The floors at the prison are made of tungsten steel.
Oh, it's not tungsten,
Tungsten.
but tungstoid or tungsten. It sounds like tungsten, but it's like it's something.
It is
Star Wars
it
fancy.
No, it is tungsten.
It is just tungsten.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Because the subtitles made it look fancy, and it's just tungsten.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which, if you remember from Solo, Rebolt's staff was made of tungsten, and its surface allows energy from a power cell to flow across it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
well, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's
very clear.
obviously how it's working.
And I love that. And it's interesting too because it's like it's at least as far as I'm concerned, it's like new Star Wars technology, but still feels very grounded in that world. Like it's like, yeah, that's believable. Sure. We haven't
Also,
really
I went
seen-
down a bit of a rabbit hole because tungsten steel is real. Like it's an
Right.
actual element.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's not just a Star Wars thing. That's why I was like, was it tungstoid? Like what the
That's
heck
what I
is he
think that
saying?
they said. Yeah, right.
No, but I think it is tungsten because that's what the Rebolt staff or Rebolt's cane or whatever is made of. And yeah,
he calls it tungstoid.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, if that's what it is, that's a brand new thing, which does not exist anywhere else.
Right. Well,
so I think it is tungsten because it's that was introduced in Rogue One and in Solo.
Yeah,
So
I believe that. They're just trying to make it sound more
Or that guy's got a weird dialect.
tongue-tied.
How do you pronounce this? Oh, it's tongue-tied? Oh, no, it's tongue-tied.
You idiot.
You don't even know,
You fool.
guy.
What a stupid idiot. Are you even a scientist?
I wonder how they got the shot of all of them writhing in pain, because it looks like a weird, like they went back and forth between two different shots.
Yeah. I'm curious whether or not they like if it was sped up at all, maybe, or something, because it looked
Maybe,
legit.
but it looked freaking creepy as hell.
Yeah, like they were like really, really hurting. Like
Yeah,
it's
that
like
was
maybe they
owie.
had a day where they're like, okay,
They
everybody
just,
gets
like,
to
made
shoot,
them, like-
shoot each
they
other
made
with
them, like-
tasers. Let's.
Oh, you went to tasers. I went to like weird acting class stuff. So like holding Happy Baby for like 10 minutes, so you tremor, so your body like tremors.
Oh yeah, no, they just shot each other with.
It's just
yeah,
straight up
tasers, yeah,
tasers.
yeah, 1000%.
Also, this episode, music wise, was interesting. It felt way more like 80, like there was a lot of like 80s like synth going on.
Yeah, there was some synthy stuff going on. You're right.
Like if my eyes were like, if I didn't hear other Star Wars sounds or hear Star Wars actors, like I almost would think this was like in the like Russian prison in Stranger Things. Like it felt
sure.
It felt like 80s synth rock.
Yeah, which is interesting.
To me. And we've gotten a little bit of that in the past episodes, but this one was like
we even
really
had like a electric
heavy
guitar
synth.
in the last one, I think,
Yes.
which was kind of like, oh, that's different.
Oh, that's a new sound to hear in Star Wars. We're not
Yeah.
really accustomed to that.
I don't
but,
know if you noticed this too, but progressively, and they've done this in numerous Disney Plus shows, maybe also in Star Wars specifically too. With each episode, the opening sequence has been developing more and more, like getting more complex, I guess, adding a new instrument or a new percussive something. And like I noticed in this one, we got like a metal clanging sound.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of
very reminiscent of like the stuff on Ferrix.
Totally.
With them, their
That's where my
warning,
mind
their
went
warning
to.
sound.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and then we haven't even mentioned those characters and Bix being dragged in to be tortured by
Yikes. Our favorite
Gerrera.
lady. So, I'm excited about her character. I'm like
she's
it's
fascinating.
She's fascinating, and it's not very often that I root for a bad guy, but I'm just like, yeah, get him. I don't know.
Yeah, and she just like
very
shut
excited about it, 'cause
and
she's so
prior
good
to
at it.
that, she just like shut Cyril down.
Yeah.
Like I think that maybe last week you were like, maybe they're gonna work together, but she has like
Doesn't
not
sound like it now.
not a single interest in him.
No.
She's like, give me information and shut the
Bye-bye.
up.
Yeah,
Like-
and it really, I think that kind of really irked him, and it really makes me.
I'm just curious as to what he thought he was going to accomplish though by sending out all of those reports, because he doesn't like have any information other than what he thinks.
All he's doing is, and I think he sort of made that pretty clear, that he's just trying to make, like, look at me, like I want you to pay attention to this, like, and it worked, because she's like, okay, fine, we'll investigate it. But
also, if you don't stop this, like, it won't be me next time, and like you're going to be killed, basically.
Yeah, yikes. So okay, so knowing all of that, I'm curious what you think, because like that's what excites me about this character so much, is it feels like my expectation for him changes every time. Although I think I had said this before, where I want to get your opinion before I even say anything. So like where where do you think he's going? Like, what do you think? Because like they're playing the long arc with him, is what it feels like. Like, do we feel like it's going to be like he is not a one trick pony, that's not the right word, but he's just like, super focused, and he is going to like complete his task or die, or both? Or do you think that he's gonna have a complete 180-degree flip at some point where he's just like, you know what, F the Empire. I don't like the way they've been treating me. I'm gonna.
I think both are possibilities.
Sure.
I think if the second thing were to happen, some other incidents are going to happen in order for
You mean
him
the
to be
180-degree
like,
flip?
yeah, some other things are going to need to happen
Yes, to
to
get him there.
warrant that.
Yes.
You know, like as at the moment, I don't think that.
No, it is it's a bit of a reach right now. All I have like to play on that is that he's like the Empire so far has not been kind to him.
Yeah, he's like, I mean,
He's sort of an outcast.
it's so funny. Like, literally, as I was watching, I watched it again tonight before we recorded,
Yeah.
and I was like, if he were like a not a Star Wars person, like
Yeah.
a person now, like
Yeah.
he would like be targeted by Scientologists because he's like been so wronged by the man,
So
and
true.
he's so like, you know, I don't know why that popped
Here,
into
hold
my
on to
head,
these
but I
metal
was
rods
just like,
while we scan your body.
but they would just be like, you can do this, you can get clear, like you can do this.
Get clear. Oh my God, that's a thing.
But
Did you watch that, right?
I did, yeah.
The documentary?
I've watched several documentaries,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's so fascinating
It is very fascinating.
and scary. I think, yeah, I think at the moment they're playing the long arc with him, which is that he will do whatever it takes to to basically like make sure that like, well, it's funny because like Andor is currently in prison, but
Yeah.
like to make sure he's like killed.
Well, yeah, and it's funny that because she even kind of calls him out on it too. She's just like, "What are you doing this for?" Like, you know,
Public safety, is it like
it doesn't feel like you're trying to like. I mean, like, how is getting this one man going to like somehow
save the galaxy
Yeah.
or like protect the Empire, whatever it is, you know, like
Totally. And it does. It's interesting because I think that like it definitely hurt his pride for sure.
Oh,
And
sure.
Pride is a bitch, as we all know. And
yeah, I
he-
think I don't know, he's just, I think you might have mentioned this last episode or the episode before, like they went somewhere with that character that I just did not think they were going
no
at all.
And I love it. I love it. And so
Yeah,
there's another like theory in my head that you know, that they're definitely at odds with each other, but it's funny because they both basically have the same goal, but like somehow I think Cyril is going to like fuck it up for her.
He might.
Yeah.
And because like we've said, if the whole Empire were as smart as she is,
Right.
we would have very different Star Wars stories.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just
that-
interesting.
that
All of the
ambition, it's so hard.
mhm.
You know?
Yeah, it's just fascinating. And like in that big group meeting where she was like pitching how, you know, to go to Ferrix to search for him, to search for the code name they have for Luthen right now is Axis.
Oh, right. Yes.
Because that's the first like, you know, real and substantial lead that they've had at all.
Which is cool. 'Cause,
And
what's her face? Doobity boop boop boop. Ahsoka is Fulcrum.
yes, she is. But it's just so fascinating to watch. You know, she has to catch herself too because she's so passionate about this, so she sometimes does speak a little bit out of turn, and the way that all of the men in that meeting react to her,
Yeah.
it's just such a it's something, you know, we've said this about this series a lot, like it's Star Wars, but it's new.
Yeah,
So
and it's
it's
just multi-layered. It feels like it's
not one-dimensional.
It's not skin deep. It's there's a lot more to it. Yeah, and it really is. It's like it gives you as much as you want to get out of it. I think, you know, like you could very casually watch this, but like if you know, it's there's a lot of there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So the episode ends with her leading with Dedra leading Bix into this sort of torture room.
Yikes. Where what's his face has already been tortured.
Yeah, where her friend what's his name?
I keep forgetting it too.
Starts with a G, maybe.
I believe you.
Yikes.
I mean, honestly, you could have been like, it's Gorgle Flat. And I was like, oh my god, that's right. You're so right. Go to Gorgle Flat. But yeah, like she's just like
Pack. His name is Pack.
Oh yeah, so close. Samsonite. I was way off.
Oh yeah.
He the way he was just like no, keep him here, and then like she walks in, she's like, get him out of here, like just so immediately like going into her acting mode. It was just like, dang, she turned on a dime. She is very good at this. And she's obviously, I mean, she succeeded because Bix is terrified apparently.
Well, the next 2 episodes, so episode 9 and 10, it's the same directing and writing team.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
So it's
okay,
Toby Haynes and Bo Willimon.
Well, so tomorrow not tomorrow. I mean, this week we're going to get our confirmation if this like trilogy theory I have is correct, because
this 3-episode chunk idea.
Yes. So it feels, because every episode so far.
If episode 9 is the third installment of this kind of story,
it should be pretty cathartic somehow. Which if it's a prison break, that would be a great end to a chapter for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a thrilling show. Something random. I know this is like just like and a testament to the fun details that they've added in this show, and they're small, but they they just add so much color, and the cool new drink. They're like,
oh yeah, with the little like
little
squiddy
worm
thing.
Yeah, I was just like, I want that to be at Galaxy's Edge. I want to drink that drink, even though
on
it looks
the
gross.
Star Wars Instagram, they've got like a DIY cocktail.
Oh, I saw
of it.
that.
Yeah,
it's not the
they
same
made it
though, because it doesn't like fizz and do
it's
the
not
weird
a real.
thing.
It's not like a real creature. Obviously, you're not gonna put like a leg.
I want a real worm that goes in and
not how it
then
goes.
it burns alive, and then I want to see.
Yeah,
it,
they
like,
made
fizz.
like a fizzy like Jello thing, like inside straws.
Yes.
So they like pushed it out of the
It's
straw,
very
and
cute.
then
and I think it's
they look
non-alcoholic.
like they look like Sour Patch straws, but like
yeah,
alive.
I mean, I guess
that
that'd
was
probably be more
great.
delicious.
We didn't mention, but we did get some like more backstory on Mon Mothma and her her marriage, that she got married when she was 15.
Yeah, it was an arranged
16.
marriage.
And there were some kind of like interesting things said about her husband, which lead us to believe that maybe at one point he was sort of more rebellion minded.
Sure, and he's like,
and now he's just kind of
indifferent.
Yeah, or gone the other way, swung the other way.
Could
I
be,
don't know.
yeah. I if he was gonna lean one way, it felt like he feels like I don't know if we want to call it lazy, but probably he's just like,
because they mentioned this like title that he had. Let me see if I can find that. Doopy duppy dip, doopy dippy dip, doopy doopy dap. Where was it? Oh yes, he was the Academy Firebrand.
Oh,
as a teenager.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Suggesting that he has some rebellious tendencies, but maybe the Empire has kind of dulled those.
Could be.
I don't know.
Well, it's just like, you want your nice house and your comfortability. Well, you better kowtow.
Also, I don't know if you thought about this, but
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't. Cassian's new fake name, Keith Gergo.
Oh yeah, what the fuck, Keith? I mean, obviously
it's weird, but it also just it's like weirdly similar to Grief Karga from Mando.
Oh yeah, right.
Isn't that like it's like the same like letters, but just like
it also sounds like it sounds like what you would call a strain of weed.
It totally does,
doesn't it?
Well, Keef, yeah, because Keef is
Yes.
like
if
Keef
it's
is
not,
weed.
it's going to be for sure.
Get on it, dispensaries.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
so
we could definitely be sponsored by that.
come
That's
on,
fine.
Keef Garga.
um
Oh wow. Well,
God.
any other thoughts before we
I also
bye-bye?
more mentions of Palpatine. I
Oh
loved
yes,
all
many.
those conversations that they were
That
having in
little
the little
circle at the
yeah, and he
party.
was just like, and it was like so, I mean, maybe a little on the nose, but like very reminiscent of our own politics of today. Because he's just like, I like a man that says what he means.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Palpatine saying what he means. I mean, he's not wrong. He does say what he means, but it's like
Yeah.
it's very reminiscent of our own politics today because like we've heard those exact words said about certain people, and it's very triggering. I think that was very purposeful.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's interesting because I don't know. I think that like years ago, a line like that or a scene like that might have felt unbelievable to me. But now
Sure.
I'm like, yep.
Nope. Scary times.
That all checks out.
That's why I can't and will not watch The Handmaid's Tale because I'm like, that's too close to the reality that we are in right now. So I can't. That's not enjoyable for me to watch that as a piece of fiction.
Yeah. No, this is like there's like a little bit of like a House of Cards situation going on, which is like it's very, very interesting. Not what I expected was going to happen in this show, and it's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, and not quite like the politics of the prequel.
No.
Series where we're all just like,
yeah, it is definitely a little different. I was just like looking through my notes to see if there's anything that I missed. I mean, just like. Yeah, I can't wait to see. I don't really know because it felt like I mean I guess it could easily be the only time we see Saw Gerrera, but like
it might, yeah, at
least for this season. But he definitely kind of gave him a very definitive like, no, I'm not helping. So good luck to you.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll see him this season.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like. I don't know. It could be just for the sake of like having the, but I mean this show so far has been very purposeful in like the people that it's put out. It hasn't felt like we're giving this person a cameo because it helps drive viewership. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure it does, but
of course.
It doesn't, at least so far, it hasn't felt like that. Doesn't mean that they're not capable of doing that. But, it's like a series of previews for new Disney Plus shows that are coming out later on. You know what I mean? Like the new Saw Gerrera show. Which, honestly.
Saw Gerrera, exclamation point.
Yeah. It's a musical. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Just imagine him coming out with his breathing tube. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Although he didn't have the breathing tube. So whatever happened
not
to
yet.
get it, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like all of our episodes about this are just like
literally talking in circles about how much we
like it. Great.
It's great.
I mean, we did bring up some of the consequential characters that are, and character development. So we did more than just say we liked it.
That's right. And we also theorized about what's happening next. But yeah, so it doesn't mean that you shouldn't watch or listen because there are things.
There are
happening.
Things. Okay. We are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess on that note,
make sure you subscribe and that
you
like our
videos. We are on Instagram at Inside the Tauntaun.
Right.
If you want to watch us on YouTube instead of just listening on your podcast platforms, that's
an option.
We are on YouTube as well.
Yeah. And truly, like, give us a little, hit the little like button because it really helps us out.
If you enjoy the show, like, hit the like button or give us some stars on the podcast apps.
Leave a little review.
Yeah, that was episode 8 of Andor.
Yes.
Thanks
I mean,
for
the third
listening.
penultimate of the
Third,
series.
no.
No.
You're just looking for excuses to say that word
You're
now.
Right. You're right. I love it so much.
I'll allow you to say it as many times as you like. In episode
Penultimate.
11. In episode 11, you can say it.
You're right. That'll be the
That's the real one.
penultimate.
Yes. Okay. This is Inside the Tauntaun,
Yes.
a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. Thanks for being here. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
May the force be with you. Always.
See ya.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.